Good morning, my beautiful ladies, and welcome to another episode for Lingerie and Lattes. I have quite an interesting subject in store today. We've talked a lot about how different women and men are, and the entire focus, really up until this episode, has been about bridging the gap of those differences and having a way of communication that aligns with both your femininity and his masculinity. And I want to touch on something a little bit of a tangent today, which will actually help enhance the relationships between men and women. And that's around women really taking the time to spend more time around feminine essence and around women's circles and around taking the time to really slow down and be as feminine as they wish without the worry that the man won't understand or be a part of the conversation. So let's take a pause here. As we know, men are very linear, and they can only focus on essentially one subject at a time. So when we are interacting with our partners, we have to kind of be aware of that difference and address it in the right manner. Because if we want our partners to be connected with us and be growing in the relationship, we need to speak to them in a manner that they can understand us. So when we actually allow ourselves to immerse in women and be a part of a circle of women, we don't have to have those barriers up anymore. It can be as fluid and as much of a spider web of conversations as we normally tend to do anyways, because women can follow along differently than men can in conversations. When we spend time allowing the quirks of being a woman be something that's a shared value, it becomes less of a nuisance when you bring it back into the relationships. So let's say the idea that women like to discuss something all around the subject, beat around the bush, rather than just address the person. We're much less confrontational. If we allow that to be the nature of who we are in a relationship towards women, we can step more into the assertiveness, into cooperating with the masculine. It becomes easier because we've also fed our femininity. This goes the same for men. If we think about only men and women interacting, again, we have that difference of mindset. So we always have to be aware and tweaking the way our conversation goes in order for both people to be on the same page. When we are amongst our own, we don't have that same awareness because, again, they think the same way we do. We can follow along a conversation. With a group of men, a woman might feel, why is everyone being so quiet? Why are we not talking about this and this thing? Why are you responding one words to questions that your friend is asking you? But for men, that's how they bond. They don't necessarily need to have long, lengthy discussions as women do. And when we allow a woman to fall into the circle of women, we allow our partner to be with their guy friends, to have that time of just thinking nothing and having no explanation, get ready to build a stronger relationship with their partners. It becomes so much easier in the partnership because it challenges us to speak with somebody who thinks differently than we do. It is much easier to simply speak without thinking and get frustrated why my partner has lost the conversation, let's say 5 topics ago. But when we do the same with women, they're all along. We can discuss those 5 topics simultaneously. So it's challenging for us to have to narrow down our focus when we're speaking with our male partners, when we have to address, let's say, a concern that we have, or we want to do something differently in the relationship, we're asking for a change. It has to be done in a very strategic manner almost. And it becomes a challenge because it's not in our nature to be that single oriented, single focus. With that subject being said, I would love to encourage women to find other women they can have discussions with that are more oriented around similar topics rather than focusing on the negatives of their husbands or their boyfriends, or focusing on the toxic traits that a lot of women have, especially when it comes to relationships. start to think about who are your girlfriends that you're able to really be just yourself with and also feel uplifted after spending time with them. You might want to make a mental list of this, a mental note, or maybe want to actually write it down on a piece of paper. And you can start to just notice where more of your attention can go to the friends that leave you more uplifted. And you can perhaps start hosting gatherings, meeting over a brunch, or having at home tea time, or anything that really is resonating with who you are. Perhaps there could be a whole circle of belly dancing sessions, because naturally I dance. That's the first thing I think of. It could be a meditation session. It could be a crafting session, a paint and sip. So really the topic itself, the activity is endless, but the important takeaway here is to have those time with women, and as a man to have those times with men, so that you can come back to your relationship recharged and ready to be challenged in your communication style. Thank you so much, my beautiful woman. Have an absolutely magical Friday, and I will chat with you all next week.